Good evening, my friends. Let us sit together, as in the old stories, and speak not of ordinary things, but of mysteries, those half-lit truths that lie just beyond the grasp of reason. Tonight, we explore a question many dare not ask aloud, but feel stirring in their hearts. Could someone you know, someone you trust, be a witch? I shall not burden you with crude stereotypes of black hats and broomsticks. No, a witch is subtler than that, more layered, more human, yet undeniably otherworldly. Let us then examine 5 signs that the extraordinary walks unnoticed among us. The ability to perceive hidden truths, often ascribed to those who are more than ordinary, lies at the heart of the first keynote, the uncanny understanding of others. This is not merely a sharpened intuition or heightened sense of empathy. It is something far deeper, a kind of vision that seems to transcend the boundaries of human perception. Those with such a gift, if we dare call it a gift, appear to see into the core of a person, bypassing masks and pretenses, arriving unerringly at the essence of who they truly are. It is not a skill they learn, nor is it something they seem entirely conscious of wielding. Instead, it emanates from them as naturally as light from a flame, an innate quality that can unsettle even as it draws others closer. To encounter someone with this capacity is to feel, at times, exposed. You may sit across from them in conversation, speaking of mundane matters, yet the sense grows that they are not merely listening to your words. Their gaze, calm yet unrelenting, lingers not on what you say, but on what you leave unsaid. It is as though they trace the unspoken patterns of your thoughts, following the threads of your meaning into places you yourself may not have explored. This perception is not intrusive or forceful. It does not demand confession or pry into the private corners of your mind. Rather, it invites reflection, a quiet understanding that what lies within you is already known. What makes this ability so extraordinary is its subtlety. Those who possess it do not need to announce their insight, nor do they seek to use it for obvious gain. Instead, it reveals itself in small, almost imperceptible ways, the advice that cuts straight to the heart of your dilemma, the question that touches precisely the wound you thought hidden, the quiet observation that holds up a mirror to truths you've long avoided. In such moments, it is difficult to dismiss their perception as coincidence or mere cleverness. There is an otherworldly quality to their understanding, as though they are privy to knowledge that lies beyond the reach of ordinary mortals. This perception is not without its challenges. Those who wield it often carry the weight of what they see, for to truly understand another is to bear witness to both their beauty and their pain. They cannot look away from the contradictions and complexities of the human soul. They see the scars left by past hurts, the shadows of unspoken fears, and the faint glimmers of hope buried beneath layers of doubt. This awareness can isolate them, for the depth of their understanding sets them apart, making it difficult to connect with others on the shallow grounds where most interactions take place. For those on the receiving end, this uncanny understanding can evoke a range of emotions. Some may find comfort in being truly seen, feeling, perhaps for the first time, that their inner struggles are acknowledged and validated. Others may react with discomfort or even fear, unnerved by the sensation of being so thoroughly known. After all, to be understood in such a way is to confront the parts of oneself that are often ignored or suppressed. It requires a level of vulnerability that many are unprepared to embrace. What remains most remarkable, however, is the neutrality of this perception. It does not judge, nor does it seek to categorize or simplify the complexities of the human spirit. Instead, it simply observes, holding space for the fullness of what is. This lack of judgment is, perhaps, what makes it so powerful, for it allows those in its presence to encounter themselves without the distortion of external expectations or biases. Such individuals, whether we call them witches, sages, or something else entirely, remind us of the vastness within each of us, the layers upon layers that compose our being. In their presence we are both seen and invited to see ourselves, a rare and transformative experience that lingers long after the moment has passed. The unusual connection with nature, a hallmark of those often whispered about in tales of mysticism, is not merely an affinity for the outdoors or a fondness for animals. It is something far deeper, something woven into the very fabric of their being. Such individuals seem to exist in a quiet harmony with the natural world, a resonance that transcends understanding. Where others may see only trees, rivers, and creatures as separate and indifferent, these individuals appear to interact with them as though they are part of the same living whole. This connection is not a performance, nor is it something they actively seek to display. It is simply there, undeniable in its quiet power. Animals, in particular, seem to recognize this connection in ways that defy explanation. Cats will curl at their feet unbidden, their purring oddly content, as though in the presence of an ancient familiarity. Birds may linger nearby, perching closer than usual, their songs taking on a strangely attentive quality. Even wild creatures, normally skittish and wary of human presence, might pause in their flight, glancing back as if drawn by an invisible thread of understanding. These interactions are not forced or orchestrated, they happen organically, as though nature itself recognizes and welcomes these individuals as kin. Plants, too, seem to respond to their presence. Gardens bloom with an unusual vigor when tended by their hands, as though the soil itself yields more willingly to their care. In their company, flowers seem brighter, leaves appear to sway more gently, and the air takes on an almost imperceptible freshness. It is as if they carry within them a vitality that amplifies the life around them, encouraging growth and renewal in ways that cannot be easily explained by ordinary means. This connection extends beyond individual interactions and encompasses the broader forces of the natural world. The wind, for example, might seem to follow them, rustling through the trees in a way that feels purposeful rather than random. Storms may break at curious moments, their timing coinciding with whispered words or the needs of the moment. Even the light of the sun or the coolness of the moonlit night seems to interact with them differently, casting shadows and highlights that feel imbued with meaning. These phenomena, though subtle, are difficult to dismiss as mere coincidence when observed repeatedly. To those who encounter such individuals, the experience can be both awe-inspiring and unsettling. The natural world, which for most exists as a backdrop or resource, seems alive and active in their presence, participating in ways that hint at an unseen intelligence. It challenges the ordinary perception of nature as passive and inert, suggesting instead a deep interconnectedness that we rarely notice. This realization, brought about by their presence, has a way of shifting one's perspective, even if only for a fleeting moment. For the individuals themselves, this connection may feel both a blessing and a burden. On the one hand, they are never truly alone, surrounded always by the quiet companionship of the natural world. On the other hand, they may find it difficult to live among those who do not share or understand this bond. The modern world, with its paved streets and artificial structures, often feels discordant to them, a disruption of the harmony they sense so keenly. They may seek solace in forests, meadows, or by the sea, drawn instinctively to places where the natural rhythms remain unbroken. What sets this connection apart is its reciprocity. It is not a matter of dominance or control, but of mutual recognition and respect. They do not impose their will upon nature, but instead move within it, as though guided by an unspoken agreement. In this way, their relationship with the natural world becomes a reflection of something greater, a reminder of the deep and ancient ties that bind all living things together, even when those ties are obscured from ordinary view. The sense of otherness that surrounds certain individuals is not something easily defined, nor is it the result of deliberate effort or pretense. It is an innate quality, a presence that distinguishes them from the rest of the crowd even when they are among it. This otherness is not necessarily tied to their appearance or actions. In fact, they may seem outwardly ordinary, blending into their surroundings without attracting overt attention. Yet there is an undeniable aura about them, a quiet, pervasive energy that sets them apart, as if they exist on the edge of two worlds, one foot in the mundane and the other in the extraordinary. When you encounter someone like this, you may not immediately be able to articulate what feels different about them. It might be a certain stillness they carry, a kind of unshakable calm that persists regardless of the chaos around them. It is not the stillness of detachment or indifference, but rather a centeredness that suggests they are grounded in something deeper, something unseen. They do not flinch at life's uncertainties, nor do they scramble to impose order upon the uncontrollable. Instead, they move with quiet purpose, as though guided by an inner compass that aligns them with forces beyond the ordinary. Their speech often reflects this same quality. They may speak sparingly, choosing their words with care, or they may share their thoughts freely, yet their words always seem to carry weight. There is a depth to their observations, a way of framing the world that feels both startlingly fresh and timelessly familiar. When they speak, you may find yourself pausing, not just to process their meaning, but to linger in the resonance of their words, as though they have touched upon something profound that you yourself have always known, but never dared to articulate. This otherness is not always comforting. For some, it can evoke a sense of unease, a subtle discomfort that arises not from fear, but from recognition of the unfamiliar. It is the same kind of disquiet one might feel when standing on the edge of a vast and shadowy forest, aware of the beauty within but also of its untamed mystery. There is a sense that they know something you do not, that they see the world through a lens that reveals truths hidden to most. This perception, while fascinating, can also be disconcerting, for it challenges the neatly ordered assumptions upon which we build our understanding of reality. Despite their otherness, these individuals do not seem alien. On the contrary, they possess an undeniable humanity, a warmth and compassion that draws people to them, even as it sets them apart. They are not cold or distant. They listen with an attentiveness that makes you feel as though you are the only person in the world. There is a generosity in their presence, a willingness to meet others where they are, without judgment or condescension. It is this paradox, their simultaneous familiarity and mystery, that makes their otherness so compelling. In the modern world, where so much emphasis is placed on fitting in and conforming to societal norms, this quality can make life challenging for them. They may find themselves misunderstood or even mistrusted by those who cannot reconcile their differences with their own expectations of normalcy. At the same time, they may also become objects of fascination, sought out for their wisdom or insight, but rarely truly understood. This duality, being both connected and apart, is something they must navigate carefully, often learning to balance their need for solitude with their desire to share their unique perspective with the world. Their otherness is not a burden, but a reflection of their essence. It is a reminder that the world is far more complex and layered than it appears on the surface, and that there are depths to existence that most of us scarcely begin to explore. Their presence serves as an invitation to look beyond the ordinary, to question the boundaries of what we think we know, and to open ourselves to the possibility that the extraordinary is never as far away as it seems. The curious influence on fortune that seems to accompany certain individuals is neither loud nor overt, yet its presence is difficult to ignore once noticed. It is not the kind of influence that draws immediate attention or manifests in grand, undeniable events. Instead, it reveals itself in subtle, inexplicable shifts in circumstance, tiny ripples that, over time, begin to form a discernible pattern. This influence is not something they seem to wield intentionally, nor is it entirely predictable. It is more akin to a quiet resonance, an unseen force that alters the flow of events around them, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. You may find, for example, that their arrival at a gathering coincides with unexpected occurrences. Perhaps a long-lost friend appears seemingly by chance, or a conversation takes an unexpected but deeply meaningful turn. Small inconveniences that might ordinarily derail plans, such as a sudden rainstorm or a misplaced item, have a way of resolving themselves when they are near, often in ways that feel too perfectly timed to be mere coincidence. Conversely, their presence might also herald moments of tension or disruption, as though their arrival stirs something latent in the environment, bringing hidden conflicts to the surface. This influence extends beyond isolated incidents and begins to weave itself into the fabric of their interactions with others. Those who spend time in their company often report feeling as though their luck has shifted, though they may struggle to explain how or why. It is not always a matter of overt good fortune. Sometimes it is simply a sense that events are aligning in ways that feel strangely purposeful. Perhaps a long-standing problem suddenly finds a resolution, or an opportunity arises at exactly the right moment. These occurrences are rarely dramatic or ostentatious, but they carry an undeniable weight, as though the universe itself is quietly nudging things into place. What makes this phenomenon so intriguing is its unpredictability. While these individuals often seem to bring about positive change, their influence is not without its shadows. Their presence can sometimes coincide with disruptions or challenges, as though their very existence compels the world to realign itself, even if that process is not entirely smooth. These disruptions are not malicious or intentional, but rather seem to arise naturally, a byproduct of the unique energy they carry. It is as if they act as catalysts, accelerating the unfolding of events in ways that might otherwise have taken much longer to manifest. For those who experience this influence firsthand, the effect can be both exhilarating and unsettling. On the one hand, there is a sense of wonder at the serendipity that seems to follow in their wake, a feeling that life's ordinary rhythms have been infused with a touch of the extraordinary. On the other hand, there is a subtle unease that accompanies the realization that this influence operates beyond the realm of logic or control. To be in their presence is to confront the unpredictable nature of life itself, to acknowledge that there are forces at work that defy explanation or understanding. For the individuals themselves, this influence is often something they carry lightly, perhaps even unknowingly. They may not recognize the extent of their impact on the world around them, or if they do, they might attribute it to chance rather than any inherent quality of their own. They are not, after all, orchestrators of fate or wielders of power in the traditional sense. Instead, they seem to act as conduits or focal points, channels through which unseen forces flow and interact with the world. Their influence is neither a tool nor a burden, but simply a fact of their existence, a quality as natural to them as breathing. In many ways, this influence serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things, the delicate web of cause and effect that underlies every moment of our lives. It challenges the notion that life is entirely random or mechanical, suggesting instead that there is an underlying order, however mysterious or elusive. Those who recognize this influence may find themselves questioning the boundaries between chance and destiny, between coincidence and intention. Whether perceived as a blessing, a challenge, or simply an enigma, the curious influence of such individuals leaves an indelible mark on the lives they touch, shaping events in ways that often remain hidden until long after the moment has passed. The presence of subtle acts of power surrounding certain individuals is perhaps the most enigmatic and compelling of all their qualities. These acts are not grand displays of magic or spectacle, as one might expect from folklore or legend, but quiet, almost imperceptible ripples that leave behind an unmistakable sense that something extraordinary has occurred. They are the small moments that defy logical explanation, events so subtle that one might initially dismiss them as coincidence. Yet over time a pattern emerges, one that suggests these occurrences are neither random nor accidental, but somehow tied to the presence or influence of the individual in question. It might begin with something as simple as an object being found in an impossible place. You might have searched a room thoroughly for a missing item, only for it to appear later in a spot you know you've already checked. Or perhaps a conversation that seemed inconsequential takes on a strange resonance, as though the words spoken had an unseen weight that reverberates long after the moment has passed. These acts are not accompanied by fanfare or obvious intent. They occur quietly, almost naturally, as though they are simply a part of the fabric of reality, bending momentarily around them. Time itself can seem to behave differently in their presence. An afternoon spent with them might feel as though it stretches far longer than it should, yet no time has been lost. Conversely, brief encounters may feel imbued with a depth that lingers, as though the minutes shared contained more meaning than hours spent elsewhere. Their ability to influence the rhythm of moments is not deliberate but instinctive, a byproduct of something deeper that seems to operate beyond conscious will. Even the natural world seems to echo these subtle acts of power. Weather patterns might shift in their vicinity in ways that feel oddly aligned with their moods or intentions. Rain might begin to fall after an idle remark about storms, or a sudden gust of wind might punctuate their words, as if the elements themselves are responding to their presence. Animals, too, may behave in ways that seem unusual. A stray dog might follow them briefly and then vanish, or birds might gather and scatter at just the right moment, their movements curiously synchronized with the flow of events. These small miracles, as they might be called, extend into human interactions as well. A whispered word of advice or an offhand prediction might unfold into reality with uncanny precision, leaving those who hear it questioning how much the individual truly knows. People often find themselves guided knowingly or unknowingly by these acts, subtle nudges that alter their decisions or lives in ways that seem both profound and inevitable. It is not manipulation, nor does it feel coercive. Rather, it is as if they are gently steering the unseen currents of fate with an effortless, almost unconscious grace. To those who observe these subtle acts of power, the experience can be both wondrous and unsettling. It forces one to confront the possibility that the world is not as fixed and predictable as it seems, that beneath the surface of daily life lies a deeper, more fluid reality that can be influenced in ways beyond ordinary comprehension. The person at the center of these occurrences does not announce their role, nor do they seek recognition or credit. They may even deny any involvement, genuinely unaware of the extent of their impact. Yet their presence leaves an indelible impression, a sense that the boundaries of what is possible have been stretched, even if only for a moment. For the individuals themselves, these subtle acts of power may feel entirely natural, as unremarkable to them as breathing or blinking. They do not see themselves as extraordinary or gifted. They simply exist as they are, moving through the world in a way that quietly reshapes it. If they are aware of their influence, they may regard it with humility, knowing that it is not something they control, but something that flows through them, a force larger than themselves. This lack of ego, this effortless alignment with something greater, only deepens the mystery surrounding them. These moments challenge the ordinary understanding of cause and effect, offering a glimpse into a world where intention, energy, and circumstance weave together in ways that defy explanation. They remind us that the extraordinary does not always announce itself with thunder and lightning, but often whispers in the smallest, simplest acts, leaving behind a trail of quiet wonder for those willing to see it. In the end, the essence of these signs, the uncanny understanding of others, the extraordinary connection with nature, the unshakable sense of otherness, the curious influence on fortune, and the subtle acts of power reminds us that the world is far richer and more mysterious than we often dare to believe. Whether you interpret such traits as proof of someone's magical nature or simply as extraordinary human qualities, they serve as an invitation to expand your perspective. They challenge you to embrace wonder, to seek deeper connections, and to recognize that the boundaries between the mundane and the extraordinary are not as solid as they seem. So, the next time you encounter someone who carries these qualities, pause for a moment. Let their presence stir your curiosity, your imagination, and perhaps even your own hidden potential. Whether you call them witches, wise ones, or simply unique souls, they remind us all of the beauty, mystery, and interconnectedness of life. Good luck as you embark on your journey of observation and understanding, and thank you for opening your heart and mind to the extraordinary possibilities of the world around you. May you always find magic in the ordinary and wonder in the unknown.